their hand.
In fact, Mr. R.P. Singh of the BJP is also joining us. Mr. Singh, how do we expect the government, your government, to actually contain this entire issue, considering 2 letters have been written? Should we take heart with the fact that there has been absolutely no response coming in from the UN? Do we go to the extent of saying that Pakistan perhaps has already been isolated internationally?
See, try to understand. I'm not as a party man, but as an individual, I can say that Pakistan is gradually proved to be a rogue nation. The way they have been led by terrorists and the way it has become the hub of the terrorism. And it's not only for Pakistan, it's not disturbing only for Pakistan, it's disturbing for the complete region as such. So sooner they wake up on this, better for them and better for the world.
Would you like to respond to that, Mr. Mayad Ali? Demands are coming in from the BJP that Pakistan should be declared a rogue nation. He may call it a personal view, but yes, that demand has been there.
If fishes were horses, it's been a long, I would say, long-stated wish that India has that Pakistan should be declared a rogue state or sanctions could be put in place against Pakistan. I think it's a foregone thing now. There's no point in this, and Pakistan cannot be declared a rogue state in any way. The dynamics of the world are changing, and I could see America and India making this, rightly so. They have every right to sort of choose their friends. India has chosen America. There's no, and I have no problem with that. But India has a problem as far as Pakistan is concerned in choosing its friends, new friends. China already being there, and now Russia. So the total geostrategic situation is changing in the region, and that's bothering India, perhaps.
Brigadier, would you like to come in? Go ahead.
I just want to ask a question to Mr. Mayad Ali. You said that India has a problem. Why does Afghanistan, Iran have a problem? Why does China have a problem?
Iran doesn't have any problem with us.
Pardon, they do have a problem, right? At Hamudaria region, your people have been, the militants have been inducted, and they are threatening the Central Asia, and China is quite worried about it.
Sir, can I respond now?
Yeah, please.
The point is that, yeah, you are right to an extent that Jindullah has been sort of active in our southern, southwestern border, creating problems for Iran. But as far as state-to-state relations are concerned, they have grown better. Iran has lifted ban on Pakistan's rise. We've got a very long-standing ties with Iran. So India should not be bothered about what Pakistan, how Pakistan is dealing Iran. Number one. As far as Afghanistan is concerned, Afghanistan is the product, and I have said it time and again, a product of your friend, newly found friend, America, the US. It has given, we have inherited this problem from America. Unfortunately, we couldn't handle it all these years in a proper manner. Now we are trying to handle it in a proper manner, and we will. You rest assured that our military leadership that you don't like, I know that, and rightly so, you should have your problems, but our military leadership knows how to handle things, and they are handling Afghanistan in a very positive manner.
Now, Mr. Mayad Ali, if the leadership of your country, be it military or the civilian one, if their idea of handling the situation is by quoting global terrorists to the United Nations, then expecting the United Nations to step in, unfortunately, your country hasn't even managed to get a response from that, which is why there are questions being asked here. Perhaps the country is already being isolated internationally.
It's a wish, I think. It's an Indian wish. And I wish it never fulfilled. It never gets fulfilled. But in my opinion, I haven't got the details of the letter at the moment, because it was today and we couldn't get much information. But I'll get information on that. But even if he has been quoted as a source, Salahuddin for you is a terrorist. For Pakistan, he's a freedom fighter. So it is one man's freedom fighter and another man's terrorist. Salahuddin, let me tell you that he's not that harmful. He's not that kind of person as other outfits are. And I think Pakistan has just taken this matter up. There's nothing of any concern for India, in my opinion.
Brigadier, would you like to respond to that? Salahuddin is nothing but a harmless freedom fighter.
Mr. Mayadali, you have even now got a difference between a good terrorist and a bad terrorist. I don't think you have learnt a lesson after what happened in that army school in Peshawar. And in spite of the fact there are so many attacks which are taking place right in army's establishments in Pakistan, you don't seem to see logic and reason. It doesn't make a difference. Let me tell you, whether he is a militant who is attacking India or he is a militant who is doing something in Afghanistan. A militant is a militant. You must understand the psychology of a man. Once he gets into this sort of an attitude, he is going to turn back one day and he is going to take problems at your hand. You may recall at one particular time, Sayyid Salahuddin went back and spoke against Pakistan when Pakistan said that they are not going to support Kashmir Valley issues. That you must remember. And this man will one day, take my word for granted, will create serious problem for Pakistan, and you will then realize it.
Ali, go ahead.
Well, let me respond to Brigadier. Well, let me tell you, there's no doubt about it. Whatever you said is there's no doubt about it in my mind. If you ask me, in my opinion, I think that Kashmiris should be left alone by Pakistan and India as well. They should be given the right to self-determination. And I know that they could be they could get against anybody. Their cause is Kashmir. And they're not for Pakistan or for India or for any other country, in my opinion. This is my personal opinion. As far as the state position is concerned, I think Mr. Salahuddin is not all that important, number one, and not all that effective, number two. And number three, please take my word on that. Pakistan army is trying to fight this menace, which I agree to an extent that it was its own creation and it was a necessity at that time, which has sort of come back as a Frankenstein. And I believe and I agree to that. But now we are trying to fight that, and you will see the results soon, inshallah. You will see the results. The Pakistan army is quite serious about fighting terrorism.
Well, in fact, let me go across to Mr. R.P. Singh as well. Earlier, you had said Mayad Ali, and I'd like Mr. R.P. Singh to respond to that Sayyid Salahuddin is not significant enough to be taken up seriously. He is nothing but a harmless freedom fighter. Mr. R.P. Singh, go ahead.
I appreciate, I don't know who's the gentleman from the Pakistan, but I
This is
appreciate...
Mayad Ali, a political analyst, and I must add one of the few moderate voices there.
Mayad Ali sahab, aapka bahut shukriya. You accepted that you created Frankenstein in Afghanistan, and which you are facing today. But Salahuddin is another Frankenstein you are creating here in Kashmir, which is ultimately going to hit you, no one else. And whatever the other gentleman from India said, that terrorist is a terrorist. There's no bad or good terrorist.
Yeah, I agree.
Terrorist is a terrorist. Keep this in mind. And don't shelter terrorists. And if you say that we don't do it, then let's not forget, where did we fight Osama bin Laden? He was in your country, nowhere else. South is in your country.
Who is
why do all these people come and take shelter in your country? So that's why it's more important for you to clear up your house and clear up your country first from this system. Then you can do whatever to provocate. And if today you carry a certificate from Salahuddin to UN to further strengthen your point, you are going to be ultimate loser. We'll deal with it in any case.
Mr. Mayad Ali, would you like to come in? The Indian government all along has been speaking very tough. In fact, it's gone to the extent of let the UN say something, then we are going to respond in kind. They haven't really clarified what is in kind. But the government's mood and actions have been going hand in hand. They are unambiguous that this time around they are going to say enough is enough.
Well, that is the proper way. It's the diplomatic way. Once the thing is there, and India have the floor, it will respond. And let us wait till that time and don't jump on to conclusion and speculation. In my opinion, let us wait how India responds. But let me say one thing very clearly, that IRA was a terrorist organization for Britain. In my opinion, they were freedom fighters.
Brigadier, would you like to come in? Where do you make that distinguishing line between a good and a bad terrorist, between a freedom fighter and terrorists?
I have explained to you very clearly. As far as freedom fighter is concerned, let me tell you that the people of Jammu and Kashmir on India are voting free and fair election as it is in any other part of the world. It has got a proper state government with a chief minister. Unlike in your case in Gilgit-Baltistan, you must please retrospect and see as to how these things are being done. And if you are saying that there is a problem, the entire Kashmir, a large number of people voted this time for elections. You might have seen the entire process in TV, and everyone in India watched this. Therefore, there is a question of freedom. What freedom are we talking about? Whose freedom are we talking about? Aren't they free citizens? Your people in Gilgit-Baltistan are not even represented in your parliament. Here there is a chief minister, a full legislative assembly, and they are represented in the Parliament of India. Please understand that. And let me also say that you keep on harping on this plebiscite issue. Let me say that the UN resolution of 47 was made under chapter 6 of the UN Charter. Now, this chapter 6 resolutions are non-implementable. Right. And please remember that there were certain conditionalities which were attached to this particular resolution, which Pakistan solely responsible for not putting it down
so
and implementing them. And that's precisely the reason what we have landed this today.
Well, gentlemen, unfortunately, we've completely run out of time. But yes, at the end of it, I think all three gentlemen here agree. And one of the very moderate voices coming in from Pakistan, Mayad Ali, too, is in agreement. At the end of it, it is both the countries who are suffering from terrorism. And unless it is nipped in the bud and it is destroyed while it emanates from the Pakistani soil, it is both the countries who are going to be victimized by it. We leave it there. Thank you so much, Brigadier Mahalingam, Mayad Ali, as well as RP Singh for speaking to us. But continuing with our coverage on Prime Minister Modi's US visit, remember, he is staying at the iconic Waldorf Astoria Hotel, which is in New York. Well, NewsX has been giving a full virtual experience of this New York landmark. Here's a complete report.